All right, what's good, YouTube? This is Scatter Report here. We're at Nationals 2018 in Columbus, Ohio. My name is Russell Stelzer. The tournament just got over with. Congrats to Jordan Markle for winning. Congrats to DBZ Dudes Miguel for getting second place. Overall, a really great tournament. Bandai did a really good job this weekend producing this event. If you haven't been to a Dragon Ball Super event yet, like next year for Nationals, make sure you go because this was some high quality stuff. But for me personally, day one in Swiss, I finished 7-1-1. I was the 7th seed overall going in top 32. Ended up losing in top 16, but had a really fun experience, had a good stream match, and I was playing Super 17 today. So here's the leader, new leader from set 5. On the front side, he has auto, burst 2. You mill 2 cards, and then you get to draw a card. And then on his back side, he's sparking 5, and then when he attacks, you draw a card and he's critical. And then he has an activate main ability that never is really relevant in this deck. But going on to the main deck, we have 4 Dr. Jero. It's just consistency, pretty basic in any Android-based list, just search your pieces. And then I main deck 2 Kami. I was expecting a lot of Shenron veggies that were running around. And shout out also to Danny Hype. Me and him worked on this deck list for a few weeks, and he was telling me how he thought Shenron Veggies was a bad matchup. And since it won Latin America, I was expecting to see a lot more. So I main deck this just because, one, he's a filter, so he lets you see your combo pieces, but he also has the upside of just being like a game resetter. But I mean, he was all right. I sided him out actually quite a bit. And then I main deck 2 Crisis Crusher, which was actually really good because if you're playing against pure droids, a lot of them were main decking the Gohans and the Masain to awaken, and you put this guy down, they can't do that. Any decks like Hercule that play out a lot of 1-drops, you just pop them. If you're going first against Storm, you play this out and it just slows them down. And this is, Storm's like your worst matchup. It's like 45-55 in favor of Storm, but if you win the die roll, then it's like 50-50. Going on to androids, I played for the new Deadly Defender, Android 18. She's basically Vegito when she's in defense mode, but 15k on your opponent's turn. And then I also played the 2 crit androids. And then for Android 17, I played 2 of the Malice. This card is actually really good just because he only costs 2. He's a burst 3, which milling in this deck is actually super relevant, and he's critical, so he supplies a lot of pressure. And then I ran 2 of the TOP Android 17. This guy is good just because he's cheap. You can clear threats against Storm and then he restands. And then 2 of the Android 17 from the Ultimate Box. Him, like, you don't really summon a whole lot in this deck just because he costs 4, but he's there because like situationally, like the removal is good, but also being a barrier blocker is good because your opponent can't remove it. And then I side deck King's Vegeta Surprise Attack, so having this guy out just guarantees that you're going to kill something. Then we ran the cell package, of course, with 4 of the 3-drop, 4 of the 5-drop, and 4 of the 7-drop. You have to max out on it in this deck just because you mill, and you want to be able to at least cell chain once per game. And then for super combos, I ran a 2-2 split of Android 16 and the new Sparking super combo. With Android 16, obviously it's really good in hand destruction decks, but this deck has so many ways to just roast your opponent's hand that you don't need 4 of these guys. It's just a little overkill, and this guy just gives you defense because I don't run any self-awakening in the main deck, which was like insane because people like wouldn't even attack me. They kind of played against me like they would against old androids where they didn't attack me. They didn't think I was going to get the pieces I needed to see, but this deck is just like so much more consistent because you get to draw 1 off your leader front. So you don't really need awakening, and this guy just allows me to like protect my life if I'm at 5 from going to 3. So he was really good today. And then for the Super 17 line, I ran 4 Hellfighter, 2 of the 4-drop, 2 of the 6-drop, and then 2 of the TP, Infernal Machine. So this is like the new stuff that came out, which is actually insane with this leader, just because since the leader untaps 2 on Awaken, it allows you to just do some really busted combos with the cell package. Like ideally turn 3 you want to put this guy out, and then turn 4 you go into the 3-drop cell. And that's another reason why you don't really need Self-Awakening, because even if you're at 8 life, by turn 4 you can go into 7-drop cell and then use his ability to put a 17 under him and go into this guy, and then your opponent's just instantly at 1 card in hand. But this guy's also just like insane on his own. He can just take over games, because especially against Janemba, like you just take away their entire hand and then you just crit people to death because of your leader. And this guy, they just never see a hand and you just crit them until they die. And this guy's also just insane in the mirror match. If you're playing against pure droids, you just play this out and they just can't really do anything against you. If they cell chain you, next turn you just play this guy and pop it, and just their entire game plan is just dead after that. Because then their hand's always going to be low after they cell chain you. And then next turn, you, after killing their cell, you go into this guy and kill him. So that was a Super 17 package. And the last 4 cards in the main deck was a Shocking Death Ball. This is also new from set 5, and it's one of your main defenses against Storm, because you can pop Go 10s and the other swap dude they go into. Going into the side deck, I sided 3 of the Mass Saiyan. Again, this was like mostly for veggies, just because you like go first and play this, and then if they want a Child's Wish or play Kaba, they just start negging a bunch. And then I ran a heavy blue package of 2 Pieces of Coercion, 2 Pan, and 4 Bean. So this was obviously for Storm. You just want to side this in because it just helps you live, and you need as much defense in the deck against Storm. Originally, I was testing 4 of the Coercion, but a lot of times, like turn 1, you'll charge a green, and sometimes when they're attacking you and trying to apply a lot of pressure, you just start drawing a bunch of like blue extra cards that you can't use. So Pan was a blue card that I could charge, but she was also a 5k combo if I needed the combo. So having her actually like saved me a couple times, and I really like having the 2-2 split. And then I ran the 2 Speedy Attack. Again, this was also for Storm. I sided these 2 in the 8 blue cards and took out the entire Super 17 package against Storm. It just pops Go 10s. A lot of times they bring in Haru Haru, it pops Haru Haru. Also good against like pure droids. If they bring out the TOP 17, you can just pop that. So this guy was really good. And then the last 2 cards in the side deck was King Vegeta Surprise Attack. Mainly for the Deadly Defender. You get Deadly Defender out, plus this guy, and it's just probably ends your opponent's turn. Plus with the Android 17 that's like barrier blocker, even the one that's not barrier blocker, if you have it out and they attack, you can just like kill stuff. So this guy, like most of the time, this guy came in for the commies. So in hindsight, like going to another tournament, I would probably main deck these 2 over the commie and just side the commie. But this was really good. So that was it for the entire deck. Again, I want to shout out Danny Hype, because I showed him like the initial shell of the deck, which was like absolutely terrible, because I didn't know that the TP card was even a thing when I first showed him the deck. And so we went back and forth a lot, refining the deck, which actually, I mean, it helped me out a ton. He gave me a lot of insight on it. Shout out to my team, Scouter Report. We had 3 players come down, and we just all grinded. We tested a bunch, and I think just knowing what to expect and getting to test something different just gave us a leg up on the rest of the competition. Shout out to DBZ dudes. They were extremely chill the entire weekend. They got 2nd place, representing the West Coast. So I hope you guys liked the video. If you have any questions about the deck, any choices that I made in the deck, any questions about how to play certain combos, just comment below and I'll make sure to get back to you guys. Thank you.